How to perform well in an interview for an international teaching job. Some of these are obvious, but some of them are, pretty insightful, and maybe you just haven't thought of these things. Do your research. You've got to research the school. You can't send generic emails and you can't have a generic interview. You've got to research the school, and you are interviewing for that particular job at that particular school. It's not just a geography teaching job. It's a geography teaching job at that particular school, which makes it unique and makes it different. Do your research, understand the school. Don't just quote the mission statement, because they'll hear that a lot. Talk about other things that sort of provide a connection between you, your skills, your experience, your expertise, and what the school is working on right now. What are their objectives? What are the things that they're really focused on? And how will you be the right fit for that particular school? The mission, the values, the curriculum, the particular section of the school that might have a particular focus that you're able to connect with. Remember, even though you might be thinking they're interviewing you, you're really interviewing them as well. So you need to be asking questions, and you need to be making sure that you're trying to work out, is this the right job for you? Not just them working out, are you the right person for them to fill that job? So make sure you approach this from the perspective that you are interviewing them. You may not take the offer if it comes, so you've got to find out as much as you can about the school before you sort of get into that position where you're thinking, I don't know if I want to take this job, I don't know enough about them. You can get that from the interview. You should talk about relationships. So the relationships are really important in international schools, and there are sort of different kinds of relationships to refer to. Talk about your relationships with your students. Primarily, that will be a great starting point if you're applying for a classroom teaching job. The relationships within the classroom, the culture of your class that you create, the feeling, the sense of community, and the feel of what a classroom would look like. And that might be a question you get asked. Tell me what would be happening if I walked into your classroom on any given day. What would it look like? What would students be doing? What would the feeling be? What would the vibe be in your classroom? How can I see your relationships with your students if I walk in and spend 10, 15 minutes in your room, in your classroom? Talk about relationships with parents as well, and maybe you'll talk about relationships that you've kind of developed and how that comes about through things like parent-teacher conferences, extracurricular activities, maybe you're involved in the community. All these kinds of things are important because parents are important in international schools. They're a big part of the community. Relationships with your colleagues, are you the positive one? Are you the one that sort of organizes events? Are you the one that helps with spirit and morale and staying positive and all those kinds of things? Are you the one that they seek out for advice, the one that they come to for a chat? Are you a part of what makes the community a little bit special in your school? And are you able to do that through your relationships with your colleagues? Of course, you're going to be interviewed by someone from leadership. So they'll want to know about your relationship with leaders, with leadership, with administrators in the school. Are you flexible? Are you able to communicate well? How would you react to a change in policy that you didn't agree with? These are the kinds of questions you often get asked. That's actually a good one that pops up. Portray yourself as a collaborator. Portray yourself as having flexibility. Portray yourself as being positive, as being a contributor. And you might want to even talk about extracurricular things that you would involve yourself in, whether it's coaching, whether it's leading organizations, or things like Model United Nations or debate clubs or music or whatever it may be. Talk about those kinds of things. And be prepared to show some examples, explain some examples of your collaboration. How have you collaborated, whether it be with colleagues, with people within your department or cross-department. Maybe it's interdisciplinary units that you've organized and those kinds of things. So talk about how you've collaborated. So basically, what added value do you bring? What makes you an important element in the school that you're at, and what can you bring to the school that you're applying to? And anticipate difficult questions. You should make a list of the potential questions, okay? Some of the things that I've mentioned there are a little bit tricky, but there are many others you might want to come up with yourself as potential questions. So some things to do in terms of how to be prepared. Don't have prepared canned responses, all right? Because there's a great chance they're not going to quite match the question that you're going to be asked. All right, so you need to be prepared to be flexible in the way you respond to the question. Think about the question that's being asked really carefully. It's what I say to my students, read the question carefully. Don't answer the question that you think they asked or you hoped that they were asking. Okay, don't try and twist it around because they'll be onto you if you are not directly answering a question. A lot of this is about how you can help the administrators. So they're hiring you and they want you to be a great contributor, but there will be times when you'll be asked to help them out, whether it's to run a workshop or whether it's something to do with collaboration. But a lot of the times it's your flexibility that matters. And it's kind of like, what would you do for them? Because they're the ones making the decision. You might not work directly with them, but they are the ones making the decision. So they'll be keen to make sure that you're not going to cause problems for the administration of the school, but also that you're going to actually help them. So yeah, this is basically how supportive are you of school leadership? And that speaks to that previous question about how you would react if there was a decision made that you didn't agree with. You often get to the end of the interview, things have gone great, and then the question comes, okay, do you have any questions? And the worst thing you could probably do is go, no, I don't have any questions. And the reason you might say that is because in your mind you've got some questions you're going to ask, but they've been answered already. So therefore you need to be prepared to have an extra couple of questions so it doesn't make you look sort of unprepared. And so this is a great tip. Before your interview, write down a list of 10 questions, things that you want to ask. Write them down on a piece of paper, have them there in front of you, a sticky note stuck up on the wall or whatever it is. So you got your 10 questions there. Now, there's a really good chance that many of those questions will be answered throughout the interview, but probably not that many. So then when they ask you at the end, do you have any questions? You can go, well, actually, you've answered most of the questions, but I do have a couple. In fact, I wrote down some questions and I'd like to just refer to those now, please. And then you can ask those questions. It makes you look prepared, even if you mention, but actually, I wrote down 10 questions. I've got them right here. Now, you've answered this one, this one, this one, but you haven't addressed this one yet. These are the questions I would like to ask. Okay, well, I hope that was useful. If you want some more tips, check the description. I've got some links to a checklist and another sort of guide and some other ideas, something about the timeline for recruitment as well, which is quite useful. Give it a like and a subscribe if you want. If you got something out of this, it helps the channel grow, and I'll see you in another video. Bye for now.